of holding Victorian views. And I said, well, dear lady, when the reporter called me to challenge me on this, I said, my views are much older than that. I didn't get them from Queen Victoria, I got them from the Bible, and I expect to be challenged if you think that I say things which cannot be supported by the Scriptures. It is my purpose always to give you what God says about things. And of course I will occasionally be giving you some opinions, especially in talk number 3, that you may want to discard, and I can't tell you that they're the law of Sinai. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak out on some things which I think have been the area of a great deal of confusion. It was C.S. Lewis who said that the only place outside of heaven where you can be perfectly free from all the dangers and perturbations of love is hell. Now think of that. The only place outside of heaven where you can be perfectly free from all the dangers and perturbations of love is hell. Obviously in heaven, there are no dangers or perturbations of any kind. In hell, there isn't any love. So here we are today in between heaven and hell, and we are physical bodies filled with roiling emotions. We are very of the earth, earthy. And that is exactly what I want to talk to you about today. I have thick files of letters that have come to me in response to this book, Passion and Purity. I couldn't tell you how many stories, sad stories, that I have from people who've said, if only I had read that book 10 years ago. If only somebody had told me these things back when I was young, as your parents told you when you were young. I thank God for Christian parents who were faithful in teaching me about sexual purity. I have letters by the dozens from young women who have been taken for a ride, led down the garden path, as it were, by young men, very often talking very spiritually. And one way or another, they either just fade off into the woodwork, or they manage to steal the girl's virginity. And of course, in a sense, it's not really stolen because she has given it away. And they're just heartbreaks. I get hundreds of letters. So the story I want to tell you in this first talk, which I've entitled, A Young Man Falls in Love, I'm going to begin at an odd point. It was back in 1960 that I was sitting in a little thatched roofed house in the eastern jungle of Ecuador. I had a small tape recorder, and sitting on the floor, my mud floor, next to my hammock, was a man who was wearing nothing but a piece of string. I don't mean a G-string, I mean a piece of string. This man's name was Gikita, and he was a member of a tribe of Indians called Aucas, A-U-C-A. I was living there in that tribe with these people, also in the same kind of